Hey, I'm Michael Smith, CEO of Bluefield Realty Group, and today we're going to be talking about a very important part of the real estate transaction, and that is inspections and repairs. And I'm going to be specifically covering this in the context of the purchase agreement that was created by the South Carolina Association of Realtors. There are different contracts out there you could use, but this is the one that's used most commonly in our area, so that's how we're going to cover it. So there are three different ways that we could write up the contract. There is repair procedure, due diligence, or as is. Each of those three methods operate in a slightly different way, so we're going to cover how they're similar and how they're different. So first, let's talk about repair procedure. In this method for inspections and repairs, we've got a specific period of time during which you can do any type of inspections you want to the property in order for you to feel comfortable with the condition. So you can do your home inspection, you can do a radon test, you can do an air quality test, you can get a licensed roofer, an electrician, you can get a structural engineer. Really, during that window of time, you can do whatever you want to inspect the property to try and uncover any potential issues. So we've got a specified period of time in the contract during which you can do inspections and then present a repair request. But with repair procedure, there are certain things that the seller is guaranteeing in the contract that are going to be in good working order. You can ask for whatever you want, but there's really only certain things that the seller has to repair. So with repair procedure, there are 9 major things that the contract says has to be in working order. So the heating systems, air conditioning systems, electrical, plumbing, water supply, and water waste systems all have to convey an operative condition. The roof has to be free of leaks. There can't be any environmental concerns, and the improvements have to be structurally sound. All right, so the second option is what's called due diligence. With due diligence, you still have a specified period of time during which you can conduct inspections on the property. However, there's not a list of things that the seller has agreed to fix in advance, like a leaking roof. Rather, the buyer has the unilateral right to terminate the contract during this period of time. So really, the buyer can cancel for any reason during the due diligence window. It can be related to what they find during inspections, or it could be that another home has hit the market the buyer likes better. So during the due diligence period, the buyer can walk away for any reason. Now, as part of that, in the contract, you could have negotiated in advance a termination fee. So for example, let's say your earnest money deposit is $2,000 and you negotiated due diligence with a termination fee of $500. So if that's the way the contract was written, really for any reason at all during that period of time, if the buyer wants to walk away, they can do so, and they're only going to forfeit $500 of the $2,000 deposit. So this can be good under certain circumstances. It's really more favorable to the buyer depending on the amount of that termination fee. If the termination fee is too high, it really could benefit more to the seller because there's less incentive for them to do repairs. Even if something major comes up and the seller doesn't want to fix it, the buyer's going to have to forfeit that money in order for them to get out of the contract. All right, so the third and final way to write up the contract is something called as is. With an as is contract, the buyer, depending on how you write it, can still have the right to do inspections, but they're really for informational purposes only. The seller doesn't have to fix anything, and the buyer does not have the right to terminate. So if the buyer walks away during an as is contract, they're going to forfeit 100% of the earnest money deposit. So this is just a brief overview of the 3 different options we have when writing a contract as it relates to inspections and repairs. If you have any additional questions about how these work in more detail or anything else real estate related, feel free to call or email us and we'd love to help you out. At Bluefield Realty Group, we strive to be your guide through the real estate process, minimizing stress and maximizing results. Thanks so much for tuning in, and we'll see you next week.